Frederick Lawrence Field was born in County Derry on the 18th of April 1871. Privately educated, he joined the Royal Navy as a cadet in 1894, attending HMS Britannia. 2 years later, he was posted to the armoured frigate HMS Minotaur, part of the Channel Squadron, aboard which he served as a midshipman. Promoted to sub-lieutenant in 1890, Field saw service as part of the China Station until April 1892, when he joined the ironclad HMS Dreadnought, part of the Mediterranean Fleet. Promoted to lieutenant, Field saw service in the training squadron before attending the torpedo school at HMS Vernon in November 1895. A period serving on the directing staff of the torpedo school HMS Defiance followed. Posted back to the China Station in July 1898, Field was serving aboard HMS Barfleur when the Boxer Rebellion broke out. During the Boxer Rebellion, Field was mentioned in dispatches for leading a raiding party which was tasked with repairing damaged trains under heavy fire. During this action, he was wounded. Promotion to commander followed on the 26th of June 1902, and on that same day Field was posted to command the torpedo boat Chaser, before in August of that same year being posted to HMS Albion on the China Station. Promoted to captain at the end of 1907, Field was appointed as the commanding officer of the torpedo school HMS Defiance, a position he held until 1910, when he was appointed to command HMS Duncan as flag captain to Admiral Thomas Martin Jerram, the Commander-in-Chief of the Mediterranean Fleet. The outbreak of the First World War in August 1914 found Field as the commanding officer of HMS Vernon, before he was appointed to HMS King George V, the flagship of the Grand Fleet's 2nd Battle Squadron. As captain of HMS King George V, he partook in the Battle of Jutland, during which he was applauded for the great skill with which he handled King George V as leader of the line under very difficult conditions. Appointed a Companion of the Order of the Bath, on the 15th of September 1916, Field was appointed as Chief of Staff to Vice Admiral Sir Charles Madden, the Admiral commanding the 1st Battle Squadron. Field held this position until June 1918, when he was appointed to the Admiralty as the Director of Torpedoes and Mining. On the 26th of October 1918, he was appointed as the Naval Aide-de-Camp to King George V. Promoted to Rear Admiral on the 11th of February 1919, Field became the 3rd Sea Lord and Controller of the Navy in March 1920. Awarded a knighthood in the 1923 New Year's Honours List, on the 15th of May 1923, he was appointed as the Admiral commanding the Royal Navy's battlecruiser squadron, where he flew his flag aboard HMS Hood. Given the acting rank of Vice Admiral shortly before the beginning of the cruise, on 26th of September 1924, shortly before the ships arrived back in Britain, Field would be confirmed in the rank of Vice Admiral. Hubert George Brand was born on the 20th of May 1870 into a distinguished family. His father, Henry Brand, the 2nd Viscount Hampton, was the Governor of New South Wales from November 1895 until March 1899, while his grandfather, Henry Brand, 1st Viscount Hampton, was Speaker in the House of Commons between 1872 and 1884. Brand joined the Royal Navy in 1883. In 1897, Brand, then a sub-lieutenant, was given his first command, the torpedo boat HMS Contest. Promotion to lieutenant followed in June 1892, whereupon Brand relinquished command of the Contest when he was appointed as the commanding officer of HMS Griffin, an appointment he held for 2 years. Promoted to commander in 1902 and given command of the destroyer Success, in August 1903 he was appointed as a member of the 4th class of the Royal Victorian Order by King Edward VII. A series of destroyer commands followed shortly thereafter for Brand. From 1905 he spent 3 years aboard the battleship Britannia. Promoted to captain in December 1907, he was appointed to command the protected cruiser HMS Blenheim and then the armoured cruiser Good Hope in February 1909, at which time he served as flag captain to Rear Admiral Frederick Hamilton, the Admiral commanding the 1st Cruiser Squadron. On the 7th of February 1911, Brand was appointed as the commanding officer of the scout cruiser HMS Belluna as the captain of destroyers. at the head of the 2nd Destroyer Flotilla. On the 9th of October 1912, Brand succeeded Captain Sir Douglas Brownrigg as the British Naval Attaché in Tokyo, a position he held until the beginning of December 1914. During the course of the First World War, Brand held a number of positions within the Admiralty and at sea. From February 1915 until June 1916, he served as the naval assistant to the 2nd Sea Lord, before being appointed as the Chief of Staff to the Admiral commanding the battlecruiser fleet, Vice Admiral Sir David Beatty. Brand's tenure as the Chief of Staff to the Admiral commanding the battlecruiser fleet was brief, as in December 1916 he was appointed as a Captain of the Fleet, Grand Fleet, a position he held until the 6th of March 1919, when he was appointed as the commanding officer of His Majesty's yacht Victoria and Albert. At the beginning of May 1919, Brand was appointed as the Rear Admiral commanding HM yachts, a position he held until the 15th of April 1922, when he was appointed as the Admiral commanding the First Light Cruiser Squadron. John Knowles Imthurn was born on the 7th of March 1881 and joined the Royal Navy in January 1895. Promoted to Lieutenant on the 15th of January 1902, in August of that year he was posted to the Mediterranean Fleet to serve aboard the torpedo boat depot ship HMS Vulcan. During the First World War, Imthurn's service saw him predominated with wireless telegraphy and signalling duties. Promoted to Captain on the 30th of June 1918, following the signing of the armistice in November 1918, Imthurn held several staff appointments, principally as the Assistant Director of Electrical Torpedo and Mining. He held this position until 1920 and then served as Director of the Signal Department. Imthurn would remain as the Director of the Signal Department until 1921, when he was appointed as the Commanding Officer of the light cruiser HMS Kerrys, before being selected to command HMS Hood as Field's Flag Captain. Henry Wise Parker was born on the 15th of June 1875. Following enlisting in the Royal Navy, on the 8th of July 1896 Parker, then a sub-lieutenant, was given his first command when he was placed in command of the torpedo boat TB-66 for the annual manoeuvres of 1896. Promoted to lieutenant, Parker was given command of the torpedo boat HMS Haughty for the annual manoeuvres of 1904, and in 1908 was promoted to commander. Promoted to captain on the 30th of June 1914, in January 1915 he was appointed as the commanding officer of the depot ship Hecla. Parker did not remain as the commanding officer of the Hecla for long, as on the 24th of August 1915 he took up a new position as the commanding officer of the Iron Duke class battleship HMS Benbow, the flagship of Admiral Sir Frederick Doveton Sturdy, the Admiral commanding the 4th Battle Squadron. Commanding HMS Benbow, Parker saw action during the Battle of Jutland, where his ship was stationed towards the centre of the British line. In June 1916, Parker relinquished command of the Benbow when he was appointed to HMS Hercules. Following the end of the war, in April 1919, Parker was appointed to the new position of Captain of the Fleet, Atlantic and Home Fleets, following the dispersal of the Grand Fleet on the 7th of April that year. Parker held this position until the 1st of August 1921. In February 1922, Parker served at the Admiralty as the Director of the Operations Division before being appointed as the Commanding Officer of HMS Repulse on the 21st of November 1923. James Murray Pippen was born on the 25th of October 1882. His father, John Pippen, was also an officer in the Royal Navy. Pippen underwent entrance examinations in July 1897 and gained entrance to Britannia Royal Naval College in August of that same year. Promoted to lieutenant on the 31st of August 1904, in August 1912 he was promoted to lieutenant commander. Appointed to the light cruiser HMS Penelope in late 1914, Pippen was promoted to commander the following year. Service aboard the light cruiser Lowestoft followed, where Pippen served as flag commander and undertook war staff duties before being promoted to captain on the 31st of August 1920. On the 28th of August 1922, he took command of HMS Delhi, his first command. Francis Murray Austin was born on the 10th of September 1881. Having joined the Royal Navy in May 1902, he was promoted to the rank of lieutenant. Until 1913, Austin served as the gunnery officer aboard the battleship HMS Temeraire. Promoted to commander on the 31st of December 1913, on the 23rd of January 1918, he took command of the cruiser HMS Leviathan, during which time he also served as Chief of Staff to Commodore Gaunt. Austin's time as the commanding officer of the Leviathan was short, as in May 1918 he took command of the cruiser Astrea. Austin would serve as the commanding officer of the Astrea until she was paid off on the 1st of July 1919 to be sold the following year and broken up. On the 30th of June 1919, Austin was promoted to captain, and on the 28th of August 1923 took command of HMS Danae. Little is known about Charles Wolfram Round Turner. He was born on the 6th of April 1879 and qualified as a gunnery officer at HMS Excellent. Promoted to captain, his first command was HMS Dauntless, aboard which he served as commanding officer from the 15th of April 1922 until October 1924. Bernard William Murray Fairbairn was born on the 18th of April 1880. Following joining the Royal Navy, Fairbairn was promoted to the rank of lieutenant in July 1901 and thence to lieutenant commander on the 15th of July 1909. On the 9th of January 1913, he was appointed to the armoured cruiser HMS Cochrane, then attached to the 2nd Cruiser Squadron in the dual position of first officer and gunnery officer. Promoted to commander, Fairbairn departed the cruiser on the 6th of November 1915 when he was superseded as the gunnery officer. Following leaving HMS Cochrane, Fairbairn would find himself largely sidelined from the war for around 2.5 years, during which time he was appointed to the Admiralty to provide gunnery expertise to Captain Morgan Singer, the Director of Naval Ordnance. In July 1918, Fairbairn took up a new appointment as the gunnery officer aboard HMS Warspite. Fairbairn would sail the remainder of the war aboard Warspite, and on the 30th of June 1919 was promoted to captain, departing the ship on the 11th of July. In the immediate post-war years, Fairbairn returned to the Admiralty, working with the gunnery division, of which he served as deputy director from the 10th of January 1921 until the 15th of August 1922, when he was given his first seagoing command, HMS Dragon. Alistair Francis Beel was born on the 21st of March 1875. Passing out from HMS Britannia in 1890, he was appointed to the Channel Squadron. Following service on the Channel Squadron, he joined the Pacific Station aboard HMS Warspite. Beel would remain with HMS Warspite until June 1893, when the ship was paid off. Promoted to lieutenant in December 1896, he was appointed to HMS Village as part of the training squadron. Promotion to commander was forthcoming in June 1908, whereupon Beel saw service as the commander aboard HMS Princess Royal when she was commissioned at Devonport on the 14th of November 1912. Promoted to captain on the 30th of June 1915, Beel received his first seagoing command, the light cruiser Lowestoft, in January 1918. Beel's tenure as the commanding officer of the Lowestoft was brief, for the following month he was appointed as the commanding officer of the light cruiser Weymouth. Beel would remain in command of HMS Weymouth until the end of August 1921, when he was appointed to the Admiralty as the Deputy Director of the Operations Division. On the 12th of July 1923, he was appointed as the commanding officer of HMS Dunedin, and at the same time was appointed as the Commodore of the New Zealand Division. John Bryan Stevenson was born on the 7th of August 1876 in Lancaster. Entering the Royal Navy, Stevenson passed out from HMS Britannia in July 1892, whereupon he was appointed to the battleship HMS Camperdown, attached to the Mediterranean Fleet. Stevenson was aboard HMS Camperdown when, on the 22nd of June 1893, she collided with the flagship of the Mediterranean Fleet, HMS Victoria, which sank with the loss of 358 members of her crew. Promoted to lieutenant on the 14th of March 1898, in January 1906, Stevenson was given his first command when he was appointed as the commanding officer of the destroyer HMS Ferret. Stevenson's time in command of the Ferret was brief, and on the 1st of April that year, he relinquished command to Lieutenant Arthur Popham and took up command of another destroyer, HMS Starfish. His time in command of HMS Starfish was equally brief, for on the 21st of July, he was appointed as the commanding officer of the tender Empress, later renamed HMS Heron, which was a command he would hold until the 10th of January 1907. Stevenson's next appointment was to the Duncan-class pre-dreadnought HMS Albemarle, aboard which he served as the torpedo officer and then as the first officer. Promotion to the rank of commander followed on the 31st of December 1910. In June 1912, Stevenson was loaned from the Royal Navy to the Australian Government and to the Royal Australian Navy. Serving aboard the cruiser HMS Encounter, Stevenson contributed to good battle practice and saw his loan extended for a further 2 years, during which time the First World War had broken out. Appointed as the commanding officer of Flinders Naval Depot, the Royal Australian Navy Training Facility, which, in April 1921, was renamed HMS Cerberus, on the 1st of November 1916, he was given command of HMS Encounter. Following relinquishing command of HMS Encounter, Stevenson was transferred to the Royal Australian Navy and promoted to the rank of captain. On the 5th of August 1922, he was appointed as the commanding officer of HMAS Adelaide.
Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more updates, like and share. You can also help to support the channel at Patreon. Details are in the description box below.